Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. There's a TV behind me. And I bumped into it.
Yeah.
My name is Chris Burris, owner of eWebStyle.
Like I didn't hear that. Yeah, my name is Charles Lewis, your Internet Marketing Specialist.
Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of our podcast. This is podcast number 231. As always, we have a tip from our previous podcast, and that is make bid adjustments based on actual conversions.
Yeah, you definitely want to check out what type of conversions you're getting, right? So, for example, if most of your conversions are coming from, let's say, a mobile device, then make bid adjustments to bid higher on mobile devices, right? Or maybe from a keyword level, you got a certain set of key phrases that tend to generate higher conversions than others. Then make keyword level bid adjustments and increase the bids on those. You can even take it a step further and start looking at the demographics of your people, their age, their race, where they're from, right? Their location, and then make bid adjustments based on that. And that way,
up and down, right?
Of course,
Bad
you don't
want
to
spend money there. Yeah,
exactly. And that way you can maximize your paid efforts.
Excellent, good stuff. All right, please remember we are your friendly local neighborhood top position snatchers.
Yes.
Where our mantra is,
don't be a douche.
If you can, tweet now, and you should use a hashtag, and that hashtag should be followed by
this right here. Tweet us hashtag SEO Podcast. This is number 231. Tag us in it at Best SEO Podcast at eWebStyle. That way we can follow you back and link up and do all of our social stuff.
Cool. And while we're talking about how to connect with us, why don't we just cover it all? Facebook.com/eWebStyle. Twitter.com/eWebStyle. YouTube.com/eWebStyle. Instagram.com/eWebStyle.
I'm going to make up a new one just for that.
Yeah, just to keep. When he catches up, there'll be that's how the internet's going to work from now on. By the time Chris catches up, there'll be something new.
Yeah.
You can also send us an email, podcast@e-webstyle.com. There are 3 ways you can help us out that we ask you to help us out each time. One of them has 3 steps, and that is go on to iTunes, create an account, write a review. It's really simple. Thank you when you write a review, and if you choose to, send us an email, podcast@e-webstyle.com. The other thing that you could do for us is you could go to our Facebook page. We already mentioned it, facebook.com/eWebstyle. and when you get to our Facebook page, there's a place to put reviews. We've actually got a review,
which is why I paused, because when you said that, I knew where you was going, and
you thought maybe there's some extra link or something?
It was, but Facebook just changed layouts, and so I was in my mind, I was already at where is this link at
on that page.
Yeah, and I couldn't.
Isn't it in this? I think it's in the same place. I was looking at it. I found it in the same place, and that could be because I was logged in as admin searching. So when you get to our Facebook page, all you need to do is find the review area, which hopefully is in the same place as it used to be.
It should say reviews.
Yes, and give us a 5-star review, please. Finally, you can go to our G+ page.
Yes.
We've made it so easy to get to our G+ page. It's redonkulous.
Redonkulous.
Yes. All you need to do is go to e-webstyle.
You know, in my hood, that means something different.
Does it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, does it? I thought everybody's hood, that was the cartoon. That was the Shrek. Redonkulous.
It will kind of.
Yeah. It's got some.
Yeah, got some other kind of meaning.
Not
bad.
Right.
Not bad. Just
it's not the same as Papa Cap, I'm assuming.
Not the same as Papa Cap.
We covered that last time, right? So just got to make sure. All right. So what you can do? The way you get to our G+ local page is you go to
e-webstyle.com/Google+.
All right. And
/Google+.
And
/G+.
And
/G+.
All of those will forward you to our G+ local page. On that local page, we really want you to write a review, and there's a couple other things you could do for us.
Yeah, write a review, make it 5 stars. Also, put us in a circle and give us a +1.
Remember, we have a referral program, and that referral program puts you in the driver's seat. And what I mean by that, the driver who gets paid for driving. Really kind of like a taxi cab seat. You send us a SEO client, they pay their bill, we pay you. Excellent.
Simple.
You can get a free website analysis on our website. And
we're getting a ton of those.
Yeah. So we're falling behind if you're in a particular
Shout out to
hurry.
the new site launch. I mean,
yeah. What did we do different that makes you wonder where all the submissions were before?
I know.
Yeah, that happens. So what was
maybe our other site was just that bad.
Yeah, maybe like, I don't really want to use these guys. No, you know what? We've had lots of clients say get 30% pops just with a
Just
redesign.
with a redesign. And so we're actually experiencing that.
We're experiencing exactly that. Now, for our segment, the one we haven't had in quite some time, the one that you guys are always dying to experience, especially if you're watching the video, because this special effect is amazing.
It's awesome. This is the most awesomest, cost-effective special effect ever.
In history.
In history.
So. Yeah.
In the known universe.
And the segment is called The Algorithm Cataclysm. Oh, I think that was even better than normal because we could see it. Got some feedback, some good sound effects. All right, Algorithm Cataclysm.
Yeah, so basically, you remember last year Google released the algorithm change to protect the search query data from users who may be logged into Google from an organic search, right? So anything that showed from a local listing or from a regular natural search in your analytic tool, that showed up as not provided. Well, they took it a step further. Now they're protecting the search query data for users who are logged in on paid searches.
So paid search, protecting searches on paid search. My immediate reaction is, what?
Yeah,
are
exactly.
You
I
kidding
was
me?
frustrated.
Like,
I was like,
that's like all the data.
Google pirate. All of that. But then, then it was like, calm down.
Read the rest of the article.
Pay attention.
Put the gun down.
Exactly. Yeah, don't blow up your computer. What it really was, they're not protecting keyword data. Let's take a quick moment to educate. Right. So there's keyword data, which is usually the keywords you talking paid search, the keywords that you actually bid on. Right. Then there's what they call search queries, which is basically what people are actually searching.
Right.
And so there's a difference. And so the article said protecting keyword data, and that's what set off World War III.
Right.
But it wasn't protecting keyword data, is actually protecting search queries. And so, unfortunately, guys like even analytics, right, where you could see the actual keyword, the search queries, can't see that in analytics. But you can go to AdWords, click keywords, search keyword details, and then you'll see all of the search queries. It's still there.
Right.
Problem is for those third parties,
right?
Like analytics like SEMrush,
okay, yeah,
people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Another chunk of data. Taken out of there by the Google pirate.
Yeah, so the frustrating part about it was like, why remove it from analytics? At the end of the day, they both Google properties, and
you probably have access to both.
Yeah, they're synced.
Yeah.
For reasons, so I can track conversions, so I can do all kind of other things. And now you forcing me to go back to AdWords to look at keyword data when I may not be doing any PPC maintenance that day.
Right.
I just may need to run some reports.
Right.
And so. Yeah.
Boo. Yeah, we don't like that one.
Google.
All right. Yeah. Hopefully, that's never going to change. I don't even know what I'm saying. Hopefully about. Hopefully we figure a workaround. A little bit of news. This is pretty cool. Amazon offered to pay its warehouse employees. I think it's up to $5,000 because when I read the article, we'll just call it $5,000 to quit. Yeah. They say, all right. Entire warehouse, and they have like 117,000 employees. I don't think they're all they're probably not all warehouse. Probably only 100,000 of them are warehouse. 17,000 of them running the internet. That's probably not true. It's got to be skewed that way a lot. Anyways, he said, all right, all you warehouse employees, we'll pay you $5,000 to quit. And the premise is, if you're not really happy here, if this is not where, if $5,000 is all it takes you to quit your job, you don't like your job that much.
Yeah.
And so it's better, we're all happier. I'm happy to pay $5,000 to know that a shiftless, maybe useless, or maybe marginalized.
Bad apple.
There we go.
Bad in the break room. Bad company morale. Those kind of employees. Yeah, I'll pay you 5 stacks to get out of here.
And they actually got the premise from Zappos. I don't know if you knew this. Zappos has a really long and unique hiring process. And at the end of the hiring process, so you've gone through bulk interviews and all of this stuff, at the end of it, they'll say, hey, so now we're offering you the job or $5,000 cash, and you go away. Right? Do you really want the job? Do you want to work for Zappos, or do you want to just 5K and get out of here?
Keep moving.
So it's very cool.
That's interesting.
What's interesting is they said fewer than 10% took the offer, which implies like 8 or 9% took the offer. So I call that very successful.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. 100,000 employees. Yeah, you just got rid of 100 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Or 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10% of 100,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got rid of it. Yeah.
Well,
That cost you 50
100,000, that's
stacks.
10,000, right? 10% of 100 is 10.
10.
So that's 10,000 fewer. So like 8,000 people said, yeah, give me 5K, I'm out of here.
And so how much would that cost them? What, 400 stacks?
Yeah. Well, let's just say it was 5,000, right? 5,000 times 5, that's $25,000.
Yeah.
Which is
Not bad.
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean,
that bad.
you know.
No, it's more than
It's
that.
wrong math.
No, it's
It's an extra
250.
zero.
Yeah, it's
You're missing the
$250,000.
zero.
There we go. Yeah, this is not the math podcast, if you guys were wondering. All right, this is something else. 10,000 Chromebooks were delivered to Oakland, California, and a really interesting article about, you know, Google's getting into the OS space, right? Not just the
Android,
iOS,
yeah.
Android space, but actually into the OS, into Microsoft space. I mean, in reality, they don't do much against Microsoft because Microsoft doesn't really have a phone, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah.
They just don't have one that I would use.
Kind of like your tablet that's in the office.
Yeah, that tablet. Yeah, don't get me started. Hey, it's a really nice tiny laptop with a lot of dysfunction. And they started pointing out how powerful Google is. I hadn't kind of put it in this perspective. Android, #1 phone operating system, right? Chrome, number one browser. Yeah. And they're about to sell, and then this just came up in another article, Google Glass is about to be on sale on Tuesday. So that's
I mean,
cool.
you look at Chrome, you know, when you tie it in, especially you tie it into like Drive and things like that, and now you have, you know, docs and spreadsheets and the ability to share files and things like that. I could definitely see it working as an OS.
Yep. Yeah, some people were whining, and then the unintelligent comments underneath were really entertaining. As usual. All right, we have a few reviews, and then we will get to the meat of the podcast. This is Richard Dowdy. I'm going to read this fast, excuse me, because it is quite long. I started listening to the podcast a few months ago. I am now at the 2013 year in review, so almost current.
Almost.
Yeah.
When did he say he started?
Yeah, he didn't say.
A few months ago.
A few months ago,
Okay.
right.
He did say.
He did, yeah. They have always provided great info and kept my attention, so much so that I needed to pause the podcast and or ignore everything else around me. Right, you got one or the other. I spoke with Chris after only a couple of podcasts about my site. He was professional, honest, and informative. He ended the call with a patiff, which I hadn't heard at that point, but I could tell it wasn't rude. No more audio issues, which with the level of content never stopped me.
That's what's up.
I really like Charles as the host as well. Hey, this is the first time he was talking about me all that time, and now he's talking about you. That's a first. I wish people would stop complaining about the potatoes, as it stops the podcast from being mundane. And so what if they plug their social outlets? The info is free, and if it irks you that much, skip ahead. Yeah, I never even thought of that. This was the fast forward button. Yeah, just listen to it.
And if you're on the mobile, just slide your finger.
Yeah, either way, just like SEO and IM, don't expect something for nothing. So for the long review, sorry for the long review. I hear you guys say that it's the #1 internet marketing podcast. Even ever thought of having some shows dedicated to AdSense, CB, and or other internet marketing ventures? Seems that the show is focused more on tips for businesses, which I do not mind, as I am in the process of starting my own. Punch in the face, uppercut to the chin, Hadoken to the face, and keep up the good work. Oh, karate chop to the back of the neck.
Karate
Reputable,
chop to the back of the neck?
Yeah, reputable
Man,
web.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad. That
Yeah,
would probably be.
I don't know. Like, there's some days when I'm really tense, and that might be, might work out. Could you do that like 1/10 of the strength and about 50 times? That's called a massage.
Yeah. Chop to the neck.
Hey, Richard Dowdy, another punch in the face.
to you.
Gave you one already on the phone call. So
And then maybe we will do something on AdSense, because indirectly we talk a lot of remarketing and things like that.
Yep.
And usually those happen on sites that are running AdSense, right? And people who have those ads on their sites. And so, I'll look into that and maybe come up with some content specifically because you asked that question.
cool, Richard. Next, we had title is "Had No Idea How Little I Knew." 5 stars. This is by JBDL Stutigers from the United States. SEO isn't exactly my lane in my current job, but I want to learn more about it and found this podcast. I was hooked from the beginning. Well-rounded approach, concise, informative, and useful. Keep it up,
Man,
fellas.
punch in the face to you, dog. That's what's
Yep,
up.
JBDLS and other stuff. And then finally, last title, Great SEO Advice, 5 stars, by Kiwi Gary from New Zealand. Kiwi Gary, that makes sense. This podcast is great, some great advice, and the hosts have fun doing it. That is absolutely true. Yeah, we agree with that. Which makes it much easier to digest the great content. Sound quality now,
yeah, potatoes, right?
Yeah, that's good. Sound quality now is fantastic. Punch in the face, guys. Gary, and he's at Kiwi Manabuzz. At Kiwi Manabuzz.
I got a couple other ads too.
Yeah, cool.
Man, so punch in the face to you, Gary.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. Want to give some more punches in the face to Renee Grasskroot. She's at I Teach Blogging, new follower.
Oh, cool.
And at D Davis at Roaring Tiger 74. So that's what's up to y'all.
Thank you, guys. So that is officially the potatoes of the podcast. If you are fast forwarding this because you don't like it, you should stop now.
Like right now.
Here goes the meat.
So I was on Search Engine Watch, man. I want to give a punch in the face to Andrew Delamarter. He put out an article entitled 11 SEO for startups and new businesses, an 11-step plan. 11 steps.
I like that.
Yeah, SEO for startups and new businesses, an 11-step plan. And so I went through the article, highlighted a whole bunch of things, but what I quickly realized is that this is more than just for new startups and new businesses. Like a lot of these practices you should put in place right now. If you're an existing business, you've been in business for a really, really long time, maybe you have a new service or a new product that you're offering, some of these same steps are applicable. And so let's dive in.
It's kind of interesting, right? Because there are things you may do as a startup that you may not do later in a career. And and so what you're saying is these are things, okay, you may not be a startup, they still apply to you. Yeah.
And if you're a startup, definitely do them.
Yeah.
Right? So for number one, he says, step one, know your concepts. And remember, we're talking SEO for startups and new businesses, and I'm going to even tag on and everybody else who's in business. Step one, know your concepts and keywords. So what does that mean? A lot of times people go into SEO, right? And they begin thinking that, oh, I need to rank for this word and I need to rank for that word. And really that may not be true. So do your keyword research and know your concepts. So and the way to do that is to stop thinking about the keyword itself and instead start thinking about the action that you want the visitors to take. Chuck, what do you mean? So let's say you're an AC company, right? And you offer two things, AC repair and AC installation. Then whoever is searching for AC repair is going to use a certain set of phrases. They're going to search a certain way, and the way they search is going to cause them to do an action based on how your site is. And so think about those keywords and separate the two. All right. Step number two, he says, plan your content investments and practice content marketing. Plan your content investments. It just sounded like it was way on my right side.
Well, no, it's you buzzing because I just posted on Twitter.
Oh, so it was me.
Yeah, it was you. It was,
but it was you.
It was me. It was us. Right?
Gotcha. Had a lethal weapon moment real quick. Yeah. Plan your content investments and practice content marketing. And so what he's saying is basically figure out what kind of content you need. Right, so let's same example. If it's AC repair, then you may want to use content that discusses the common problems people have. You may want to come up with some CTAs that focus on repairs, focus on the time it'll take to get those repairs done, because people searching for AC repair, that's what's going to interest them. Maybe it's an AC installation. Then you may want to look at some common objectives people have and go ahead and answer those, the features and benefits of installing a new system. And then, of course, come up with some CTAs around installing a new AC system. That way, when you do begin to put out this content, you don't have repair people looking at installation stuff.
So when you say CTA regarding installations, what, give an example. What might be a decent CTA?
Let's say a call to action for those who may not be in the know. If you're installing new AC systems, you may, and a new AC system could cost you anywhere between $4,000 or $5,000, right? So maybe your CTA is $250 off any new AC install.
Right.
Something like that, right?
If you call now.
If you call now.
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
Make it even more powerful, yeah.
And so you want to tailor your CTAs to whatever keywords and action that you want them to take.
Absolutely.
That might be a tip. Number 3, ensure your site is technically flawless. This is key. Clean your code up.
Yeah.
It was saying making sure your site loads, create your 404 pages, make sure, this is flawless. You don't want any errors. You don't want anybody who's already on the verge of making a purchasing decision. You don't want to give them a reason to not buy. Step 4, get your on-page and metadata act in order. Yeah, follow your basics, man. Get your titles right, get your descriptions right,
Get your headers
all images, headers, format your code right, use bullet points, that sort of deal. Have enough content on the page, make sure it reads well, reads for the user, not the search, but have the right keyword density, all of that kind of technical SEO basics. Do that.
Yep.
That stuff still applies to this day. Number 5, develop your social authority plan. Now this is key, especially for people who are in a service industry, not necessarily a product, but let's say you provide a service. And so with that service, you're doing a lot of, again, AC repair, that's
Right.
a service. And so let's say you're blogging a lot about tips to maintain your AC and tips to how to do this and the best way to change a filter or whatever it is. He says develop your social authority, meaning who's the face, right? Because when people absorb content online, there's an authority.
Yep.
Who posted this content? Who's the author, which is the keyword and authority,
Yep.
right? Who's behind this? And so in some cases, like for us, for example, it's okay. You may see a post from me that represents eWebStyle.
Right.
You may see a post from Chris that represents eWebStyle.
Right.
But then if you go to like some bigger branded companies, you may not. It'll just be published from the company. And so, which is okay, but you just have to determine that up front. Who's going to be that author? Whose LinkedIn profile is this going to be?
Right.
Who's really going to be the face of this content? So develop that. Number 6, mobilize, localize, and socialize your content and people.
That's a lot of eyes.
Solo-mo.
Solo-mo.
Solo-mo. Go give me the Asian,
Oh, solo-mo.
yeah. Yeah, so solo-mo, social local mocal,
I
right?
don't even know why you wanted that.
Because you do it all the time.
Oh, okay. We are working on solo-mo.
So basically, you want to make your content, easy to engage socially, right? Make sure people can share it. Give you a tip real quick too. When you're using those share icons, be sure to include your username in those, right? A lot of times people will be like, tweet this, share this on Facebook, like this on Facebook, put this on Digit, but you include a link to the actual post. Go ahead and include your username. The Instagram does it well. If
Yeah.
you use the repost app, it'll repost from whoever you copied that
right.
from. And so be sure to do that. So make sure it's easy to absorb mobilely, right? Go responsive. That way people can thumb through it with ease and they don't have to tap, using some sort of pagination or a whole bunch of other pages. You don't want to do that. And locally, make sure it's relevant, right? If you are a brick and mortar business, be found locally.
Be found.
Yeah. Number 7, step 7, practice distributed search-informed communications and PR. I read that like 3 times when I was sitting down. I was like, what? Basically, he's just making sure you understand how you're going to promote it, is what he's meaning. So figure out how you're going to do that. Are you going to blog about it? You're going to do some press releases, newsletters, interviews, maybe some videos, things like that, and put those into practice and kind of outline them, which ones you're going to do, why you're going to do them, how you're going to put them out. Go ahead and outline the content you're going to use in each one. That way, when you get to that point, you have a strategy and a plan in place, and you won't just kind of be fitting your way around. Number 8, train editors, publishers, and writers on SEO and linking. This is key if you have a lot of people writing content for your blog or for your company.
Yes.
You want to make sure everybody's speaking the same language, using the same format.
By the way, the language is called Google.
Or I think about one of our clients, people writing different content,
Right.
and so all of this content comes in different ways,
Right.
right? And so give the people who are writing the content the voice. Tell them, hey, all this content needs to be in third person. After every 300 words, include an image. that sort of deal. Make all paragraphs between 5 and 7 sentences,
Right.
whatever it is. Give people a structure and a format so that way the content you're putting out is consistent.
Yeah.
And that way the people who read it become accustomed to what you're doing. They start recognizing and understanding the voice. And that way it's not a whole bunch of sporadic content that's not relevant and not consistent with what you're putting out. So yeah, do that. Number 9, put the key metrics like reporting tools and reporting cadence in place. Key metrics. Basically, make sure you can measure what's going on while this campaign is performing.
Yeah.
So make sure your analytics is set up, conversion tracking is set up, call tracking is in place if you're doing that sort of deal. You may want to download, I don't know, a replace by refer plugin. Hit us up, we'll give you some details on that. That way you can change which phone numbers or which CTAs are being shown based on the search query.
Yep.
Awesome tactic. Based on where they came from, actually. Number 10, allocate dollars for content promotion and syndication. Allocate dollars. Yeah, prepare your budget. Like, this is not easy, and it's not free most of the time. A lot of the social profiles are free, but even then, it takes a resource called time. And so you have to do that. But some things do cost, right? Maybe you want to do a photo shoot. Or maybe you have a professional video crew come on. Maybe you guys are wearing t-shirts or whatever. All of those things cost. And so budget that before you dive in. And so that way you can have a plan moving forward. Number 11, and this is the last one, and this one may be as important as all the rest of them. Make it somebody's job, right? At the end of the day, you don't want 30 people all trying to do that. It's like too many moving parts. It may require 30 people to get it done, but give it to somebody to manage. So they can coordinate the efforts, so they can make sure the budget is allocated, so they can make sure the right social author is in place, so they can make sure the content is written in the right language and has all of the right attributes.
The right voice,
Exactly. Somebody to really manage that and pay them for it, because that's a job in itself. And that way you can confirm that it got done right. He says, in conclusion, these 11 steps will make your SEO successful. I say, in conclusion, he's right. It will make your SEO successful, but I think this will make your overall business better. And here's my other tip, and this wasn't in his article. This is eWeb added on for free.
Right.
Use these tips.
No charge.
Use these tips to tie in your offline promo with your online promo. So, for example, whatever graphic CTA you use that's on your site, how about you print that, make it a huge banner, and hang that up in your more brick and mortar store. And so whoever happened to see it online, when they come into the store, there's an immediate, I saw that before. That's what I was looking for. That right there, and then you go to it. Or maybe they're in your store and you give them a receipt after they purchase. How about you include a coupon code on that receipt? Or maybe a featured product on that receipt with a web address. And then tell them to go fill out a survey and get something free and put the address to the survey on the receipt. Why? Because then they see the coupon code and then they see the site. And that's how you can transition offline transactions back to online transactions.
And then hopefully back
to
offline.
the store. It's a cycle. Get them to check in and come back, and once somebody spends their money, then they're spending. So great article, man. SEO for new startups and businesses, 11-step plan. I'll post that on Facebook and Twitter. You guys hit us up, tell us what you think about it.
Cool. Well, that has been the meat of our podcast. We actually do have a little bit of what?
Yeah, we do got a little bit of what news.
Probably you got some too, huh?
Yeah, I got some.
What? Yeah. So I'll start this one off. Heartbleed. Anybody heard about Heartbleed?
Yeah, Heartbleed.
Open SSL standard that's used across the internet, the interwebs, and has a hole in it that's now available for hackers to use, and it can give things away. I don't know, things like passwords, usernames. Wow.
Yeah, it's an SSL.
Wow.
Open.
So some security guy was like, on a scale of 1 to 10,
this is a 30.
This is 11. Yeah. Yeah, no, they don't even think that way. It's like, this is just worse than I could ever imagine. And you can see some like uptight security. This is just much worse than I ever imagined.
Yeah, there's a B613 guy. Oh, we probably don't watch Scandal. All my gladiators, y'all know what that meant. It's that bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it's bad. So I don't know. And some of the point, like this has affected like really
Yeah.
large companies. So like, dudes, I code. I steal code from other people and use it, or appropriate code. Procreate is a different thing
yeah.
altogether. Usually has nothing to do with
different
code.
in my hood.
So I appropriate code for purposes that I could utilize. You kind of expect like Cisco not to do that.
Yeah, create your own. I mean, you
like-
would just think.
So some dude's like, hey, we can just plug in this open SSL right here, and then we don't have to code for, it doesn't even matter how long it takes. Just do it yourself. Anyway, pretty big. Did you have another one?
Yeah, I had some what too.
All right. Well, this is like, what?
Yeah, this one goes to Yahoo, right? So remember the Yahoo Yelp partnership?
Okay.
So they partnered up, and Yahoo's trying to bolster their local listings and local reviews and all of that. So they partnered up with Yelp. Smart move to get reviews.
Hopefully
on
they'll
their
clean
site.
up Yelp.
Well, so the
Yeah.
problem was, imagine all of the people who had tons of positive Yahoo reviews.
Okay. Yeah.
They lost them. They got replaced by Yelp
What?
reviews. Exactly. So
Which happen to be negative often. Oh man.
Exactly.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, it sucks all the way around.
There are
So
literally millions of people going, what? Wow. That's horrible. Thank you, Yahoo and Yelp combined. I mean,
that's like one step forward, 3 steps back.
That's crazy. All right, so you have been tuning in and listening to the most popular internet marketing podcast on iTunes. That is
known planet on the whole
and
galaxy.
we were reading an
universal.
article, How to Speak Texan. That's because of all
Y'all.
y'all, not yous guys, all y'all.
But we fixing to be finished.
Because we're fixing to finish this podcast and get back to work. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for making us the most popular internet marketing podcast on iTunes. We really appreciate it. Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burris.
Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.
All right. What was that? And we went over like.